Well, home births were around in the 1930s, 1940s, 1950s, 1960s and 1970s onto Wigan Council. And when the family's obviously completing the actual sport, we know what the actual person could do after a home birth. And as long as the person is obviously communicating without physical disabilities, you would ironically go into sports. You could go into modelling and other talents. You go into practical jobs or work your way to different levels in education to do with the office work. But the bottom line is, even if other countries have different opinions what they do, it's getting too late because with the vast majority of an older generation that was passing it down, they knew what to do anyway. You know what I mean? So you was actually being brought up with them. So, even from an actual royal family, like cousins obviously being born in hospital, I don't blame them in the least of the fact of avoiding medical negligence, don't get me wrong. But from our end, everything was obviously organised. You had to make sure the person was communicating from a toddler, give it some form of education, get through as much education as possible, either go into practical jobs, office work. If you fancied a bit of modelling, you'd do that. And then basically office work as well. So you had some form of communications, and you can communicate. So the bottom line is that if anybody was looking deformed, unable to communicate with physical disabilities, an education psychologist was on standby. They would not be put into a mainstream school. They'd have their own little school, and to be honest, they'd have to be looked after by a parent and a care worker. Unfortunately, it's obviously turned out to be an actual medical neglect, so do support that. And I know that other managers had to support that through different generations when home births were around, but the majority of the UK are being born in a hospital. Okay, so happy Saturday and I hope you have a lovely weekend.